us and learn about this amazing collection that he saved from 1803 to 1958 prior to Fidel Castro taking power, and then visit some of the iconic landmarks like Tower Theater and the Bay of Pigs, and some of the historic Ball and Chain, which used to be the speakeasy of the 30s and the 40s, and Duke Ellington played there, and Frank Sinatra played and sang there, and this was the place to be seen and to be as Miami grew from 24 to 29, but it continued in its fabulous, this was and is now again, thank God, the winter stomping ground for the rich and famous, and not just seasonal anymore. It is year-round as we grow in our magical city. And with that said, I am going to bring in my guest now that just walked into the studios, Bill Fuller. Good evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I love what you do. And, you've been on the show several times before because you keep doing amazing things. And, we love, and I was, as I was buying time here and actually talking about my company, something I never do, we never promote ourselves because we get wrapped up in the community, and we really get so excited with the things that are happening. And developers like you really make the city what it is, unique, vibrant, and really keeping it the way it was 3 decades ago, 60 decades ago. And you showed such a beautiful example with that by renovating and bringing back to life Ball and Chain. How is that going? And can you tell, remember, this is a nationally syndicated show and internationally, 880 The Biz, Art Talk. And so what we want is people from all over the world to know where Ball and Chain is, and tell us about that project, and then we're going to go into the new exciting one.
So, great. Ball and Chain is actually 6 months into its reincarnation. So the original Ball and Chain was opened in 1935, closed in 1957. Count Basie actually sued the original owner for back due fees, and that was it. So about 6 months ago, after about 2 years of painstaking renovation and research, we reopened, and thank God everything's going really, really well there. It's located at 1513 Southwest 8th Street, across from the Tower Theater that you mentioned, catty corner to Domino Park, with good neighbors over there. You mentioned Cuba Ocho, Futurama, Azúcar Ice Cream, all in the neighborhood there. So takes us to where we are, Little Havana, Calle Ocho, 3 million visitors a year. It's quite a number.
It is quite a number. And, I have researched it prior, 2009 when we opened up the art experience and started off with Design District first, and added Wynwood, and then added Little Havana last year. And it is an extraordinary amount of tourists that get there. And the reason why we decided to do an art cultural tour was when Jeffrey Loria opened up the Marlins Park. Yeah, and there's like a multi-million-dollar collection of beautiful Moreaus and Kenny Scharfs and Pangs Born. And so we always start a tour with a collection or museum. So for Little Havana, when Jeffrey Loria did that, we wanted to have that as our contemporary collection for Little Havana. As you know, it was a big controversy. Why the ballpark in Little Havana, right? So it seems so perfect, ball, baseball being so Caribbean, especially Cuban, some of the best players.
It's an important sport to the culture.
It is. And so with this wonderful art collection, which that's what we're about, our curators for the art and history. So it was such a cool thing for us. And then
And how's it going?
You know what?
In 1 year, it's been 1 year now?
It's been 1 year. I have the stand that we started really great, and then I got a really bad burn. Right. I don't know if you know, I was burned from my leg down. And so after December, we took a stop.
Okay.
And we're going to be reopening it to do the tours, to go up and down. We're constantly doing tours, though.
Yeah,
I was there last week.
I see your team out on the streets all the time.
We're doing more of the private curations, and a lot of our tours in the last month and a half bought from Futurama, from the artists there, especially Katie Bernard. Big shout out to her. She's fabulous.
Yeah.
She's excellent. And so our tours...
She's a real pioneer in the Futurama space. She was our first artist there.
Really?
And really with her, she was able to introduce a lot more artists. So.
Well, she's been absolutely great. She's been like our ambassador for Futurama, I don't know, unofficially.
Excellent.
And so we call her, and she is ready, always smiling. And I'm so pleased that the last few tours loved her work, and separate families from separate parts of the world. We had a family from Israeli. We had another one from Boca Raton, Delray Beach. And they ended up buying 2 or 3 pieces.
Fantastic.
Each family, each tour. So that excites me because we don't, receive commissions. We just know that we want to bring people to see art. And to see art, you have to love it. And that's our specialty. That's our niche and the history. But as you were saying, one of the reasons why we did Little Havana, besides some of our artists from Wynwood and downtown moving to Little Havana, and the Loria collection. And so we did the Dine Design, Explore the Arts, and we went to different businesses like yourself with Ball and Chain. We had a beautiful group there that ate your fabulous food. It was great. We had Edwin Bonilla, who was a Latin Grammy Award winner. He was playing the congas for my people, arroz con habichuela, rice and beans, And so my people were eating ropa vieja and morros, plátano maduros.
I'm hungry now.
I know. I'm starving myself. I want to go to Ball and Chain. And anyway, with that being said, we had 50 people. And I was concerned because it was your first 2 weeks of being opened. And this is a very important group for everybody's important. But this particular group is like their 5th time using me as their date girl, their cultural date girl, which we've become to a lot of major resident directors of some of these major resorts. And so I was like, I hope they could pull it off, because it's 50 people. And sometimes some restaurants are really great with the 4s and the 6 tops and the 8 tops, but when you give them 50, it's a whole nother game.
Sure.
And so I was like chewing on my nails, because at the end of the day, we take our tours so seriously. So we know the art is great. We've seen it. And we know where to take them. But when it comes to food service, you are now at their beck and call. And if there's anything off, the food's off, the service is off, the drinks don't come out, the drinks don't taste right. Anything that's off makes my A+ 5-star TripAdvisor tour go down to 1 star, 2 stars.
Definitely.
And so when we use someone for the first time, we're like, and we've had restaurants that have an impeccable record, but we will not bring big groups to them ever again because they dropped the ball so bad.
It's definitely a challenge to step it up to that level and especially in such a quick time period.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was so afraid. But we're known for bringing the new and improved tours, especially if you've been on them a couple of times. We always find great new things, and people that come on our tour or bring their family. They do our tour and they're like, oh my God, this was the best day ever. I have family coming next week or next month. And so we find ourselves doing the same people over and over throughout the years and their families. And so it's so important to always show them something new and exciting. And so we took this group to Ball and Chain. And let me tell you, it was hands-on. It was 5+ stars.
That's great to hear that.
The food was phenomenal. I haven't had a chance to sit with you since.
We take a lot of pride in that, and it's hard work to be able to provide the best service.
And your bartenders and the young lady who is the manager, she was really sweet. And there was enough food to go around. No one, that's another thing. We were like, oh, buffet, oh my God, what if they don't have enough? Everybody had enough.
Excellent.
It was just perfectly. It looked like that's all you did. You were blue skies. Like it was just perfectly in numbers. So I just had to tell you that because I haven't seen you. Now, again, Bill, I want you to tell, and I'm going to stop talking, and when I get excited, I just had a cup of coffee waiting for you, so I could be a mouthful, as they say. But one of the things was that we found a lot of these double-decker buses, that we love them, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them don't really allow the people to explore the neighborhoods, and if they're there, to know their options as they have to run back to the bus in 15, 20 minutes. And so I felt a social responsibility to the community to bring our 5-star award winning from Wynwood and Design District into Little Havana. And on a daily basis, it's hard because, you know, everything is sourced from my pockets. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm a small mom and pop. So it was pretty hard if the momentum didn't take. We're still there, you know, we're cats with 12 lives, you know. But I heard, and this is why you're on my show, because you're always doing great things for the community. I heard that Viernes Culturales, which is a wonderful organization, now its anniversary, I think next month, for 15 years.
15-year anniversary coming up.
Isn't that awesome?
It really is.
Can you tell our people what Viernes Culturales is?
Okay, so Viernes Culturales, also known in English as Cultural Fridays, which falls the last Friday of every month. It's been doing that for 15 years. Is an event that hosts musicians and artists, and it takes place on Calle Ocho between 17th Avenue and 14th Avenue. And so every last Friday of the month, we have about 5,000 to 10,000 guests that come out to the street. They enjoy the different galleries, the restaurants, the bars, the live music that's presented by the organization. About 50 different artisans and artists that are out on the plaza next to the Tower Theater. And
Dr. George.
And Dr. Paul George. How could I miss it? Really such an asset to the organization. Every Friday at 7 o'clock, on the last Friday, he conducts a neighborhood tour. It's free, which is unbelievable because normally that would cost you a nice penny to go on one of his tours. And he's always changing up the tours, taking you to the west side of the neighborhood, the north side of the neighborhood, southeast, and really he's got so much information.
And so much stamina.
He really does. It's unbelievable.
I did a tour with Dr. George. I went to his class last year because we're always stepping up our game as historians. And so I took a course with Dr. Paul George, and what a great professor and what a great person. And he knew about our tours, and he was very excited to have me in his class, as he has many tour operators and people. And so it was really nice. And going on some of his tours, my God, he just keeps you, he just walks and walks and walks. And I mean, I do a walking tour, but he goes up these steps and down these steps. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what, isn't he going to get tired?
And his memory is unbelievable. I've introduced him to people 3 to 5 years ago, just briefly, and he'll remember stories years later about their families and their storylines, and it's just unbelievable. That's really how he's able to capture so much and share it with all of us.
I know, he's a wonderful, I love Dr. Paul George, and every last Friday on in Calle Ocho. It starts at 6, right?
Yeah, about 6:30 it starts out there. His tour, I think, is at 7 o'clock,
Right.
and then leaves from the Tower Theater.
Right.
And
you can enjoy the azúcar ice creams. Casa Panza puts out this big paella,
Yeah.
and it's selling there for like $6, and it's amazing.
And all the cigar stores are open out there, and you could spend hours just going in and out of the small businesses there on the street.
And
really
it's
see
so
the neighborhood
exciting.
come alive.
Now, one of the things that we found really funny when we opened our Cultural Art Center booth there to start off our tours for the art and the culture in Little Havana was how many people would come and say, where is Little Havana? And they don't realize that they're there. They expect like something like, I don't know, people with maracas or cigars to roll out to the streets. And it is mom and pop. It's got a lot of rich history. And it does need information. And so we were providing that, and we still will provide that with the tours. But now I hear something really wonderful is happening April 24th, this Friday. Bring us up to date and our fans.
So with all the visitors that we have annually, we felt that as a neighborhood collectively that there wasn't a source of information that we could provide a lot of information about Miami, a lot of information about Little Havana in a way that was unbiased. So in a way that where all local businesses could provide information to us to disseminate. So under the auspices of Viernes Culturales, we are launching a Little Havana Visitor Center with our partners, the Greater Miami Convention Visitors Bureau, Miami Parking Authority, the City of Miami, Office of the Mayor and the Commissioner, and Bienes Culturales, and we're very excited. It's going to be open daily from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 days a week. And I'm encouraging all local businesses, all tour operators, all buses to bring their information so that we can disseminate it to anybody that comes. And hopefully we'll be able to do it in a couple different languages and just provide a service to all of those folks that come that are lost.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal because the truth is so needed. It really is. And, you know, it needs an organization like Bienes Culturales, who has been, you know, the pulsating beat of Little Havana, you know, and Little Havana, like you said, it really brings in about 300 to 500 people per day on these buses, and they stop, and besides, and that's what broke our hearts, that's why we created the tour we did, because they would just see the little old people, you know, the park with the senior citizens playing dominoes.
Right, they never peeled back the layers. You guys really, through your knowledge of the market, have been able to go in and show them the glimpse of a lot of the culture, the food, the history, the music, and those are really the layers that we want to show people when they come to the neighborhood. And you guys do a fine job of that.
Thank you so much. Well, we believe that, you know, every day is Art Basel as far as I'm concerned, and that includes all our art districts. And Little Havana, every single tour that we do is called Dine, Design, Explore the Arts. Now, we have done smaller orientation tours as low as $25 for an hour orientation with a signature beverage, because we found we needed to do that. There were people that come off of a boat and have to go to the airport back, but have 2-3 hours, and they don't want to do the extended version of our VIP, which that's really geared for the art collector. You know, when you're paying $145 to spend 3 hours to see art, you probably own.
Sure, you have some disposable income.
Yes, disposable income. But when you're, you know, just finished coming off of a cruise or, you know, a glamorous vacation and Miami's a stop, you're going to, you know, want to take in an hour or two of certain districts. So we started to do the Little Havana orientation tour, the Design District orientation, and Wynwood and South Beach. And we found that it's wonderful because it's still within that hour, we can do some of the most signature jaw-dropping experiences, leaving their appetite enough satisfied but still curious to come back and then do the signature tour when they have more time, or if they're just starting off their vacation, like on those big buses. We found that a lot of people, when they come to Miami, the first thing they do is either the beach or a big bus. And so we found the opportunity to at least let them know we're here if they wanted to come back and do a more extensive snapshot of the neighborhood. But with you doing that booth with along with the, you know, Greater Miami Convention Visitors Bureau, and I also believe our good friend Carol Ann Taylor from Black History Initiatives, right?
Yeah, Carol Ann Taylor, who actually has been a long-time pioneer in the neighborhood, owns a small business there called Little Havana to Go, very nearby, adjacent to the visitor center, and also a board member of Bienes Culturales, has been extremely active, and really this would not be possible without the efforts she's put forth.
Yeah, she's a strong advocate, and she has a store that many people that visit have been going for decades by. She greets them with free Cuban coffee, and there's always a wonderful conga out there, which is that.
She, for me, is the pioneer heritage side of the visitation to Little Havana, starting, I believe, in 2001 with her store. So
yeah, she's been there a
really
long
amazing.
time. I think even longer.
Wow.
I think longer because I met Carol Ann Taylor when I was doing the Aquasino, which was a ship, a casino ship.
Okay.
And she sat on the board of Big Sister, Big Brother. And we were doing private group parties on the ship, which was gorgeous. And we met talking about doing an event for Big Sister, Big Brother. And we ended up meeting and becoming friends. We never did that because shortly after there was the crash. There was no, that was way after actually. So she's been doing it, I think, yeah, maybe 2001 to 1999. because
Yep.
that's when we had been working and talking. But with that said, time flies by. My
Yeah, it
God,
does.
I just realized the crash was 2007, so I probably sat with her in 2004 with the ship. But we're going to have Carol Ann Taylor. She's going to be on the show.
Excellent.
She's going to come back after our commercial break, which we're going to be going to commercial break in a minute. But Bill, you're going to tell us more about the activities for April 24th, the time, red ribbon cutting, any of the great stuff. And we'll be coming back with Carol Ann Taylor. And this is Art Talk with Susana Baker on Primetime Bloomberg Mondays. We'll see you right back after this commercial break with Bill Fuller.